That's saddening.
Oh my god. That was so unexpected.
Mm-hmm. Led them, he encouraged them, he showed them how to do it.
And right at the end when his freaking father comes in. Okay,
Yep.
I gotta stop. What the hell did that guy do that for? That was one of the Kingsguard that did that. Sweating. Come on, man.
Of that potion was she going to give to her son?
She was going to kill him. If it was Stannis who came through that door, he was going to kill them both. Poison.
Tyrion deserved more.
That's crazy.
100%.
I really hope he didn't die. He looked like he was passing out.
Yeah.
Or dying. He's okay. That would be such a... Why would he... Who would have told that guy to do that?
Even his steward to try to help save his life.
Yeah, he killed the Kingsguard.
Yeah.
His squire.
Sorry.
Steward is like a person who takes care of...
Oh, that's right, like Sam. Okay.
The affairs of the castle. He like tells the cleaning people, go to this room, clean this place. Do this, do that. Cook this. The king's meal is at this time. That's what a steward does. A squire like holds your like equipment.
Like your wine for what Robert Baratheon had. Always had wine.
Yeah. Okay. And the hound said, give me something to drink. And then his squire came over and gave him something. That's basically like what they are. Oh my god. I need a minute. That sucks.
Yeah. Tyrion was one of my favorites. I did him dirty.
He inspired all of them. When the king was like, I'm getting the hell out of here.
Yep.
The slightest reason to leave, I'm leaving.
Mm-hmm. Not even for urgency, just because she wanted him there. Okay.
Stannis lost. I kind of don't. They're putting you into the perspective of the people at the siege, so you can't really tell what's going on in every stage of it, which is fine. I could not. He obviously didn't bring all of his people to that place because 100,000. They didn't go through 100,000 worth of people. Maybe a few thousand, but there's still at least 90,000 more left. It is blazing hot in here. I am sweating. This show is not helping that situation.
Cersei got so drunk that she got really real with Sansa. Hope Sansa lives with the Hound. That's her. So we get back to Tyrion. He went through all of that and he got... Oh.
Yeah. Did we see any Daenerys in this episode at all? No, it was all the siege.
Yes.
It was just one whole scene. This whole episode was a scene.
Different perspectives of where they stood during it.
But... Yeah, like they were with the women, they were with Joffrey, they were with Tyrion. Bronn had a section talking to the Hound. And I wonder what exactly made the Hound... I know he kind of doesn't like fire, but I didn't know it was that extreme. And he was never on... I don't think he was ever in a point where he was close to being on fire himself. He just saw fire.
Yeah, and then he just completely...
The map breakdown for this video is going to be crazy. I'm going to probably do it in a...
And educational parts into it. It gave the past of... And not everyone, but all the characters. But it was still wild.
Yeah.
All those men. Like, we can't trust the half-man. We can't trust him. And then he led you guys.
He's done it twice. He did it with the clansmen saved himself from. He inspired them to fight for him.
Being told, like, don't fight for King's Landing. Don't fight for your king. Fight for yourself. He put all that to the side.
So this, as I explained it in some previous episodes, and someone explained to me, said something in a comment that actually made me realize seasons are different. They're not trying to accomplish the same thing. And it makes a lot of sense. Season 1 was establishing the characters in the not establishing the characters and world. They're establishing the characters and world through the perspective of the Starks. When the story is not just about the Starks. It's about all of the houses and their goals and their aspirations. And Daenerys, who is essentially another house, but they're exiled from Westeros. And this season was not that. It's not doing the same thing as season 1. It is showing the War of the Five Kings, which is Robb Stark, Joffrey, Stannis, Renly. What's the other? Iron Islands? Did they rise up? Is that what I'm getting? So it's coming at a different angle, and I appreciate and understand that. It's trying to tell that in the best way possible. And I think we do get a lot of character development from those characters in particular, and I don't know how those will adapt the later seasons, how these portions, like if Stannis is ever as close to taking the Iron Throne again after this, or if there is another point where he can do another siege on King's Landing, or if this is all or nothing. That's kind of where I'm at.
I think about that way. You would have to come back really hard the next time.
Though the battles they show, I don't know how it goes in the book. Maybe it's very different, right? The battle they show in here is like 10,000 people at max. There is not 100,000 people in that battle.
Well, I know that some of the ships got wildfired.
Yeah, a few thousand. If I were to count those ships up.
Not as 100,000.
Yeah, maybe let's be generous. 10,000 people died and 20,000 people took part in that battle.
But you still have all that left over. Yeah.
Or if we weren't seeing the whole picture and there was other battles happening, they just didn't show it on screen.
Now that Stannis lost and that Tywin is there and Cersei is there, oh, what could happen to Stannis?
Stannis is getting the heck out of there.
Yeah.
He's leaving. Reluctantly, I don't think he has a choice but to leave. He gets captured, and they didn't show him getting captured, so I'm suspecting he escapes. It's hard.
And I think a little glimpse I caught that Cersei is going to figure out who Shay really is.
You think? I don't think she gave away that much. Maybe you're right.
Just the way that she questioned her little antics. Oh, well, if you were, since 10 years ago, you know how to curtsy. Never seen you before. What's your history? I mean, that could just be her being nosy and being just pushy about everything. That's just how she is for everyone. Mm-hmm. But she's careful.
Yeah, we gotta get a light for you. You're in darkness. Yeah, your light is better over there.
Well, I'll come scooch over. My dark soul showing apart. It wasn't really a heavy episode. It was a lot going on, and the ending just
Yeah, Joffrey. That's the only person I can think of that told that Kingsguard what to do. Because the Kingsguard responds to the king. Joffrey, because Tyrion was away from Joffrey for a little bit. So
he made me look bad, go take care of him, that kind of sting. Oh.
Told one of those Kingsguard, if you get a chance, kill my uncle.
I mean, it would make sense because it's Joffrey.
Because my question is, can anyone else, the king, command the Kingsguard? Obviously, they could take bribes, right? They could take from other people dishonorably, but I thought they were like duty bound to do what the king tells them only. I could be wrong. I don't know, but I'm just trying to narrow down who would have made him do that. And I understand now why they call this episode the Blackwater, because the big part of the battle happens in the Blackwater.
Yeah.
Not the siege of King's Landing or something, right? And I'm wondering if that didn't happen, if they would have actually been able to, capture the city, even though the Lannister forces were low at one point, and then Tyrion brought them up.
Yeah. I thought they were actually going to, because they got so low, and they were getting such advantage on them. I was like, oh, we may have a winner. And then that came.
Yeah. Again, we're going to have to just wait until we read the books to see. You guys can tell us if you'd like. Book spoilers, if we've already seen stuff, doesn't truly bother me too much. It doesn't bother me. We're going to read it and take what you tell us is just your interpretation of what you read. You're not telling us word for word what the book says. So it's your interpretation. It's your opinion. You put a spin on it when you say it to us. We're not getting exactly what we would get if we read it, right? So it doesn't bother me because I take everything everyone says with a grain of salt.
I think besides Shay, the Hound actually looked like he actually gave a shit about her. He was completely like, I don't care about this place.
I wish she would go.
I am done.
This is her only choice. Yeah. If they figure that out, they can... Oh, and Jaime Lannister is free. Not free, right? But
well, I mean, you may as well call it free. He's under one person.
Does Brienne have enough of a understanding of the situation to see that Sansa is not with King's Landing? It's complicated.
Yes.
It gets so much more complicated because he's free now and on his way to becoming free.
Possibilities and all kinds of things.
Yeah,
I'm going to hope that Tywin's, Tyrion is my son. I technically should heal him before he dies, but I don't think that...
I think his squire is
really
going to... His squire saved him, so
yeah.
Maybe his squire will drag him back
I mean, he
And
is
get
holding him
him-
on the ground. Yeah, that's what,
and get him stitched up so he doesn't bleed out.
yeah, because he was passing out. Or oh my god,
I mean, you get cut on the face like that, you probably pass out. I hope he doesn't die though. That would be
that would be oof.
and if he does, even though I don't like it, it wouldn't surprise me because the show and I have Tyrion on my possibility to die almost dead breakdown that you'll see. I think we'll just leave it there for now. And we'll probably have more to say in episode 10.
Mhm.
And when this comes out on YouTube,
Yes.
you guys 1 week from now get prepared for the live stream because we're doing the premiere, we're doing the live stream, and then Histories and
History
Lore
and Lore?
Part 2. Hello, Breakdown People. Episode 9, Season 2.
Yes,
Do you remember what happened in that episode?
quite a bit, but it's still festering. I do know.
It was the siege.
Yes.
Okay, let's get into the deaths. First of all, foremost, let's get out of the way. Off the top of my head, I think he died. I'm pretty sure he's dead. Sir Davos' son.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't get a confirmation on that, but he seemed to have been like blown up. Do you know how this board works? So this is
And your thoughts of who's going to live and who's going to die, you move them?
no.
Oh.
This is the dead board.
Dead board. Okay.
These are dead people. So this is a good refresher for you guys if you don't remember. Going this way is how important we think the death is to the show. Like how important that person dying would be. For example, you remember when Lamy died? So I put his importance basically at 0. If I could put it there, it means nothing. In the grand scheme of the world, him dying doesn't mean anything at all.
Okay, I understand now.
And then Sir Alton Lannister, I put a little above. He actually should be like right there, to be honest. And this is the thing I do a lot when I come back. Like after I've seen more episodes, I've changed how I feel about certain things in the show over time. So my opinions like adapt. Yoren, he died.
I feel he's important.
I'm put him up here. So Renly Baratheon, I put at the top
Yes.
because he's literally was going to be a king. And he was the leader of a house. It's basically, essentially, if I were to go back to season 1, you have Robert Baratheon, very important.
Mm-hmm.
This way, increasing, is how surprised we were when they died. When we saw that they were dead, right?
Yes.
Sansa's caretaker, when we saw her head on the spike on the wall, we're like, I put it way over here. But in the grand scheme of things, she's not important. So I didn't put her high up. High up is like Jon Arryn, but he kind of died off screen, so I put it at low surprise. So we were very like not surprised at all about it because we didn't even know the character. He was dead when we started watching the show. And Eddard Stark, we kind of knew it was going to happen, so I didn't put a surprise all the way up, but it's important. It's the thing that started the War of the Five Kings was him dying, and then the thing that killed him was him dying. Jory Cassel, his like men-at-arms guy who managed his house while he was in King's Landing,
Yes.
got stabbed through the eye by Jaime
Yes.
Lannister. I put him right in the middle. Surprise, middle of the road surprise, middle of the road importance. Because he was like an important figure for Ned Stark. And probably led to him going down the road he did. Matthias. So that whole sequence was surprising, but do I think it's important? As important
The
as
events that led to it were surprising, but I don't think
his death in particular was
No.
important in the grand scheme of things. And if it's his character was so good that he affected other people, but he didn't. He had literally nothing going on with other characters. Like
we saw him for a few flashes.
I would put him there. I'd bump Yoren up a little bit because I was a little more surprised by Yoren. I was a lot more surprised by Yoren.
Yes. What do you think about Yuri? I was surprised when we came in there and she was on the floor.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that. Someone had to tell me in the comments.
Oh.
I didn't see her dead. I didn't even notice she died. But someone told me after, and I moved it after. Not a single. I scrubbed back to see. There wasn't a single drop of Daenerys in this episode. Not a single bit. So her story is completely unfinished as of this point. Didn't really touch on any of the other characters besides the King's Landing stuff. I don't know if Salador San died. I don't. Did we see Sir Davos for the rest of the episode? We saw him on the boat.
Yeah.
That was it. So these two characters might have just died in this episode.
I remember the
Melisandre.
wildfire getting on the boat, but I don't know him.
Yeah, I didn't even see. He fell in the water. Maybe he burned alive. Both of them. We didn't see any of them, so I'm gonna put them way up here.
Okay.
Tyrion Lannister, like, he's like in between life and death right now.
Yes.
If there was a place for him to be, it would be there. The siege, my predictions of what the siege was gonna be like did not pan out. The siege wasn't really a siege. It was basically over by the time they started. I think Bronn was about here-ish, right? When they were coming in. Sir Davos was up here. Much was up here. I don't know if the pirate was. But their trick was the wildfire. In the end of the day, they put the boat up here. Bronn shot an arrow at the ship that was leaking the wildfire. And it blew up.
Yes. And it didn't stop.
I don't know if Sir Davos died in this, but I'm pretty sure his son died as the explosion was like right next to his ship. So he died. He fell into the water. He like jumped into the water or something. And yeah, after this play, Stannis goes into siege the city. Still, they try to get in, try to get over the walls. They are unable to. Tywin comes in from the outside left, basically flanks the side of King's Landing and destroys Stannis's troops trying to get in through the walls. Here, Tyrion Lannister rallies the troops and gets them to stay. Clegane quits. He's trying to get Sansa out, but I think Sansa doesn't leave, so he just leaves. Joffrey Baratheon goes back to the castle. And my real question is, guys, who attacked Tyrion? Was it Trant? Or was it another guy? It didn't look like Trant to me. And Lancel Lannister is just off somewhere. But Tyrion is the only one in charge to remain on the damn battlefield. What a hero. And the people who are supposed to be there are there because they're told to. Tyrion doesn't need to be there. He could leave. No one's going to question it. But he decides to be there.
Leadership. A lot of leadership. And
so Stannis is pushed away, pushed back. That's fitting. And I forgot, Loras Tyrell comes with Tywin Lannister. So the Tyrells have officially joined House Lannister in the war. And that's all because of what Melisandre did with the Demon Child and killing Renly Baratheon. If she had not done that and not killed Renly Baratheon, I don't think Loras Tyrell joins the Lannisters. She's not perfect. And she's not really thinking. For someone who says to know all and be guided by some god, that's a big mistake. Big misunderstanding of the situation. The one thing that I said in my other episodes is if they want to siege the city, which Tywin Lannister arrived, so might have not worked anyways. But I feel like they needed to put people at every single gate in the place. I don't know how many people they had in the end of the day, but a siege isn't a siege until the people you're sieging can't leave. Maybe that was in the cards, but they used the wildfire and blew up like 10,000 people in the boats. Maybe they just decided not to spread out and go to a different gate too at the same time. And I think Jon Snow is going to join the wildlings. I think that's where it's going. And I don't know if it's going to be like a double agent type of thing where he's joining them to play for the Night's Watch, or if he's actually going to learn that he believes in what the wildlings believe, you know?
He seemed to take quite a bit of interest when she was talking.
Yeah, his whole worldview is being challenged. Bran is alive, we know that. The Robb Stark conclusion, I think he's going to make a mistake with this girl. His situation with his bannermen is like tenable. They are starting to doubt him. And I understand where he's coming from, but his bannermen want revenge. But without Jaime Lannister, his situation's deteriorating. A few people who are still sitting on ice that I thought would have come back into this situation is the Vale is kind of like on the sidelines, not doing anything, even though they don't like the Lannisters. And I kind of figured at this point they would have gotten into the fight, especially with Peter Baelish being from the Vale. I don't know what's going on there, if they're just going to sit this whole thing out. And another kingdom, Dorne, that we haven't seen anything on, I thought would be at least teased a little bit in this season, or maybe it doesn't even show up in the show. But there's this whole other kingdom that's just on the sidelines and not really doing anything. And that's why in my prediction I had the kingdoms that kind of weren't involved coming into play, because I would assume those kingdoms want a piece of whatever pie is being cut here, and they want the biggest piece. And by sitting on the sidelines, are they really getting the biggest piece they could possibly get by joining? Or are they so afraid of losing something that they already have, And the Daenerys situation, I think, is going to be resolved in episode 10. We're going to figure out if any of her dragons have died. Yeah. I'm assuming she's at least going to keep one. If anything, she's going to lose the two in a worst case scenario. In the best case scenario, she's only going to lose like one. Based on the show and how it deals with those things, I don't think she's going to get away clean like no one does. I mean, she's already lost people. Like her one friend was dead, Yuri. Is there anything you want to say? You don't normally do these things.
No, I'm just learning how to wake it this time, but I wanted to pop on this time to see your layout.
Well, this is the season finale. I just thought I'd invite you in. You can give your 2 cents. You did a little bit.
A little bit.
If you guys have map ideas, if you guys have ideas from other YouTube channels that you want me to try to go into, am I the only reactor doing this kind of stuff? Is there another person doing this kind of stuff for Game of Thrones? Let me know who they are, because I do a lot of research. I like to look up. I don't look for episodes where it's spoilery, but I try to look for other content creators doing these types of things and try to pick my brain to see if I can't add something to what I'm doing. I always try to grow and learn with the methods of doing reactions, and I try to take best practices. And it's not I'm not an explosive reaction person. Some people think we're great. Some people probably don't want to watch us ever again. And those are two sides of the coin. And I try to give you the best of a little bit of everything, right? I'm not trying to be one thing. Yeah.
Planned out the way he was going to take over and claim the throne.
Yeah.
He should have done it a bit better. He should have gathered all of his troops at one place.
Yeah.
Because he killed, boom, gone.
Yeah. Siege
of Blackwater. If he wanted it that bad and thought he was that strong and stuff, he should have cornered them in.
I just don't think he had a lot.
I think it was rushed. He rushed it. Yeah. I know he didn't have time to do it, but
I think an overland campaign probably would have been better for him. And if he connected with Robb Stark, told Robb Stark, hey, this is what I'm doing, can you help me out? But they're kind of independent and doing their own thing. And that's one of the things I said starting this season. If one of these people don't work together, they're all going to fail. The Lannisters they don't have such a significant advantage over any one nation that they couldn't beat them. But divided, I think they have enough leadership where it makes a difference that these two factions aren't working together. And maybe Robb Stark doesn't want to work with someone who's following this red priestess type of person, but you got to swallow a little bit of seawater come up from below. You got to get to the surface of this thing. And they have the Riverlands with them, so maybe they're thinking in their head, I don't need Stannis' help, he needs mine. And Stannis is thinking, I don't need Robb Stark's help, he needs mine, because he needs to support me because I'm king. And then Stannis too said, why should I ally with Robb Stark when he's going to take half of my kingdom? Because Robb Stark is king of the North now. We can theorize too, what would the Seven Kingdoms look like under Robb Stark? What would they look like? What would the Seven Kingdoms look like under someone like
I would feel like it would be very different.
Stannis Baratheon? What would the Seven Kingdoms look with a Stannis Baratheon versus a Robb Stark?
Well, they're two very different personalities of what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Stannis
obviously
Baratheon
all hypotheticals.
I think that Stannis Baratheon would want control over everything.
Absolute loyalty.
Yes. And Robb would just want his justice or his revenge for his father and then keep them separate.
With the situation, it's hard to imagine Robb Stark. But maybe someone like Peter Baelish as the king of the Seven Kingdoms. Or how would Tyrion Lannister do as king of the Seven Kingdoms? I don't quite know. About Tyrion in a role that's serious, I understand he needs to solidify. I think he's just afraid of wedding Shay. He needs to get married to Shay to kind of put this he just messes around with people thing to bed. Because it's the one thing where his father doesn't respect him. And his father maybe doesn't deserve respect, but
it would help his case though.
It would help to say this isn't someone I'm paying. This is someone I actually love. I'm not paying her. She's not being paid. Is he still paying her? That's a question. Holy monkeys. I think we'll have more to say in the last episode. There's a lot of unfinished business, and I think that's probably going to roll into the next season quite a bit. And remember, guys, the live stream is going to be next Sunday. The episode's coming out at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Sunday. It's going to be 30-minute video, and then we're going to go right into the live stream, post-season live stream for episode 10. Do Histories and Lore live with you guys, so you guys can talk to us about that. And then after the live stream's over, I'm going to post the breakdown. So what you're watching here, what we normally do, it's posted at the same time. It's not going to be posted at the same time. It's going to be posted after the live stream's over, so you guys can watch it later. It's going to be a premiere, so I'm going to premiere it, watch it, the episode that I edited with you guys, typed to you guys, and then once the premiere ends, I'm going to roll right into the live stream. And I don't want to lose a lot of viewers by going through the breakdown section. So it'll just be after the live stream. You can catch it. Thank you
for watching
the map breakdown. Yes. And just so you guys know, probably going to do a week off or 2 weeks off of Game of Thrones. I made the mistake of just charging into season 2, and I wasn't doing a good job managing my time with keeping myself up to date with the filing, and it's been a challenge ever since, and I've been trying to play catch up. So I want a little bit of time just to catch up on the stuff that I've been missing out on. If you guys want to, I'll put out the Avatar episodes for that. I know a lot of you don't really care, but I'm trying to branch out a little bit. And if you guys just want to like the Avatar videos, it would help me out tremendously, because those videos are suffering. And I put a lot of effort into those videos, and I don't know. They're not even getting 200 views, and it's kind of killing me. It's bumming me out. And it's rolling over to how I am experiencing Game of Thrones as well. I'm trying not to let it, right? But it is. It's affecting my drive. So if you just want to like those videos, help me out, please. This video, and thank you for sticking with us all this time. Can't wait to do episode 10, and thank you
for watching
Immersive Reactions.
Until next time.
If you liked the video, please like and subscribe. It helps us get recognition on our videos, and we'll react to more in the future. Thank you.